Welcome to City Times, your number one place for Manchester City match updates, transfer news, and behind-the-scenes training action. If you love City as much as we do, you're in the right place. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to stay connected with everything happening at the City fans. Let's go, Citizens! Oscar Bob transfer latest as Man City, given £30 million decision to make by Premier League rival Oscar Bob is wanted by Fulham, with Manchester City open to selling the Norway international this month. Manchester City are in talks with Fulham over a proposed move for Oscar Bob. The Cottagers are keen on the Norway international and have approached City over a January move for the winger. No deal has been agreed, and a fee of around £30 million is being proposed. City have been willing to let Bob leave this month, either on loan or for a permanent deal, and the signing of Antoine Semenyo provides further competition for him to make it at the Etihad. Pep Guardiola gave an abrupt response to questions about Bob at his press conference on Monday evening as City came to Norway without him. The 22-year-old has not featured for the Blues since coming off inside 20 minutes in the League Cup win over Brentford in December. Guardiola has suggested since that the player's injury was not helped by him not being ready to play, and was in even less of a mood to discuss the winger as City arrived in the country where Bob hails from. Asked about his injury, the manager said, "He says he's not fit, so he's not fit." Bob has fallen down the pecking order at City after failing to impress this season. He missed the chance to shine when given a rare start in the Champions League game at home to Leverkusen. After being taken off at half-time in that game, he was excluded from a number of squads after that before being reinstated for the Brentford match. Guardiola said he had no idea if Bob would leave in the January transfer window in a dismissive response. Bob has made 15 appearances for City so far this season. Manchester City's strongest lineup after Mark Guéhi transfer and injury returns. Manchester City are reeling after the Derby Day defeat, but the future looks promising for the Blues. Manchester City need to pick themselves up and dust themselves off after Saturday's disappointing 2-0 defeat to Manchester United at Old Trafford. While the Blues had plenty of possession, they failed to make that dominance count, with Senne Lammens having a straightforward afternoon in the home goal. Arsenal's draw at Nottingham Forest later in the day, followed by Aston Villa's defeat to Everton on Sunday, ensured damage limitation in terms of the title race. City can also be buoyed by the knowledge their team will look a lot stronger once players return from injury. Pep Guardiola's side have also been busy in the transfer window, and while Antoine Semenyo had a quiet game on Saturday, he has already shown glimpses of exactly what he can offer. Following him through the door at the Etihad Stadium is expected to be Crystal Palace captain Mark Guéhi. The England international has proven to be one of the best defenders in the Premier League in recent seasons and adds yet another good character to the dressing room. Arguably, City have the strongest goalkeeper department in the Premier League, if not world football. Plenty of clubs would love to have a player of Stefan Ortega's ability as their third choice, and that's before you look at the two men vying for the number one position. James Trafford showed in the 2-0 victory over Newcastle in the Carabao Cup he would be good enough to be the first choice for City or other Premier League clubs should he be asked. However, Gianluigi Donnarumma is the first choice at the Etihad Stadium for a reason, and he showed it against United. Out of the entirety of the City squad, Donnarumma was the one who least deserved to be on the losing side this weekend. He produced some great saves before United finally managed a breakthrough, and he would retain his spot when all players are available. Once Guéhi arrives at City, he should slot straight into the lineup for the Blues, injuries permitting or not. At Palace, he played in a back three, but the change to a back four should not be a major issue for him. Who partners Guéhi at centre-back is the big question. Out of the current crop of players, though, Ruben Dias is the obvious choice. Both Max Alleyne and Abdulkadir Kusanov are doing a good job filling in during the injury crisis, but Dias, when fit, offers a lot more experience to that backline. Josko Gvardiol could be moved to left-back, where he has played frequently for City under Guardiola. Nico O'Reilly has done well in that position, but considering what the Croatian can offer the Blues, he just about gets the nod. Picking the defensive midfielder in the strongest City lineup used to be an easy decision. However, Nico Gonzalez has proven to be a very solid option for the Blues, while Rodri has been recovering from his injury issues. That being said, when both men are fit, you would favour Rodri sitting in front of the defence. There is no player in the world who Guardiola would trust more than the Spaniard to feature there, so he remains City's strongest option. Ahead of him slightly in midfield are arguably the trickiest spots to nail down in this team. As captain, Bernardo Silva gains a place, albeit you could argue the merits of picking Tijani Reinders instead. The Dutchman is positioning himself to replace Bernardo should the Portuguese midfielder choose to leave City at the end of the season. In our opinion, Phil Foden would also make this team alongside either Bernardo or Reinders. Foden may not always be the most consistent player, but when he is at his best, there are few in the world who can stop him. On the wings, new signing Semenyo has shown enough to prove he can be a great fit for this City team. His versatility is also a major strength for the Blues and allows Guardiola to keep the opposition guessing. Joining him on the flanks could be Jeremy Doku, with Semenyo playing on the right and the Belgian on the left. However, it would be tempting to see Ryan Cherki on the right and Semenyo on the left. Cherki has been a revelation for City and adds something different for the Blues. Of course, that would then leave just one position reserved for Erling Haaland to lead the attack. Manchester City confirm new Claudio Echeverri loan after Bayer Leverkusen disaster. Claudio Echeverri has joined Girona on loan from Manchester City for the second half of the 2025/26 season, subject to international clearance. Claudio Echeverri has joined Girona on loan from Manchester City for the second half of the 2025/26 season, subject to international clearance. Echeverri spent the first half of this season on loan at Bayer Leverkusen, but the move was a disaster. The City youngster was named in a Bundesliga starting 11 just once in his time in Germany, making 6 league appearances in total. He fared a little better in the Champions League, appearing in 5 of Leverkusen's 6 European outings, albeit the one game he didn't feature in was Leverkusen's victory over City at the Etihad. Echeverri will now spend 6 months with sister club Girona in a bid to stake his claim for a place in Argentina's World Cup plans and to show that he has what it takes to make it back in Manchester.